On the dot. I'm first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk, where we get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather, hopefully get your day started off on the right note, and certainly at least a little educated on where we're headed for the afternoon. We've got a lot to talk about on Coffee Talk today because, first off, yes, we know that there are showers and thunder showers in our forecast. We'll be timing it all out with Futurecast, and the tropics are heating up. Look at that. Do we have something? Are we undergoing tropical cyclone genesis? We'll look out and see. There are 3 now areas that we are monitoring. And hey, let's try that again. Artemis, we're going to try and fire the rockets on Saturday afternoon, causing my entire newsroom to self-destruct schedules for all of the crews because we were originally thinking it was going to be a Friday reattempt, and here we go. Surprise. Hopefully you didn't have any plans like Disney on Ice on Saturday. And if you did, you're going to watch a rocket launch now. We'll be talking about all of it for you. But before we get too deep, let's just see what's doing outside right now. There's a shot downtown Orlando, some clouds off in the distance. A lot of blue sky. At least it's nice and dry. It's a lovely forecast for our Wednesday morning. Temperatures out the door certainly looking very much like an August start, right? Mid-70s to the north, upper 70s through the metro, a couple of 80s showing up. And our first warning live Doppler radar showing some heavier pockets of rain, even some thunderstorms coming in off the Gulf Stream, or excuse me, the Gulf of Mexico. And while that's not going to be doing much, it's going to gradually try to come on in. Yeah, not too bad, but there are a few thunderstorms out there. Let's see. Radar took a lightning strike last week, had to replace the Acromag, and then yesterday took a power hit, showing us that our UPS system apparently is incorrectly configured. Lost the radar for 6 minutes yesterday. So crews are going to be working on that, figuring out what's going on and why the UPS didn't work. At any rate, here's a look. We'll zoom in on the rain just a little bit, see what's doing, and you can see those thunderstorms there. If you live in Ocala, Bushnell, Wildwood, Inverness, you're seeing the storms kind of developing and just kind of hanging out on your western horizon. Shouldn't be too much of a problem for you, but they are showing up, so I do want to make sure you know about it. Forecast today, generally quiet for us to start. By lunchtime, though, we'll start to popcorn up those showers, even a few thunder showers, and then by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, we'll be tracking widespread thunderstorms across the area. Once again, a 60% coverage of rain. It continues to be an active forecast. Emmy, good morning to you. Peter, how are you? Kendra, good morning. How are you? Annika says, I'm at the CSL Plasma in Orange City, and the power flickered. Random. It's not even raining. I mean, there could have been an accident, a car accident for all you know. When we monitor the power outages, a lot of times it's like, oh, and then you go and you look and FHP's reporting a wreck or something like that. So that kind of stuff happens. John, good morning to you. Susan, Kenneth, good morning. How are you? Daniel says, tracking the ensemble models, and it's showing a storm coming across Mexico, up the U.S., across Louisiana, and coming down the pipe toward us. Yeah, Daniel, we'll look at all the models. The tropics are definitely heating up. We had talked about this, the Madden-Julian oscillation going into phase, and as is such, you know what that means. Tropical activity should start to go. Kimberly, good morning to you. If I have to wake up early for no reason, at least I catch Coffee Talk. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. First JV football game of the season tonight. How's it looking around 5:30? 50 to 60% coverage of showers and storms. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of football happening here these next couple of days. Not just high school. We've got college football tomorrow. Today, by the way, just for full transparency, today is the fall barbecue at the television station. So you have been ordered to wear your team's colors. So we're representing the Knights here. I almost tried to get a new marching night band uniform to wear at the station, but I felt like everybody already thought I was a mega nerd, and that would have just been a little much. But here we are. Maybe there should be a backup generator at the radar site. Well, the radar site is at the television station, and we have a generator, and it runs on the generator. But because of the way that the tubes are on the radar, you have to have a UPS upstairs, because even the switch over to the batteries downstairs isn't quick enough. So we have a UPS upstairs, and it works. Doesn't work recently, so we're going to have to look at that and see what's going on. Michelle's asking, what time is the launch on Saturday? So let's chat about that, and then we'll get back to today's forecast, just because we've been chatting a little bit. All right, so SLS, the Space Launch System, is scheduled for a 2-hour launch window on Saturday, starting at 2:17 and going till 4:17. For now, there's a 40% probability of violation, or 40% probability of good weather during that launch window, a 60% probability of violation. I will say, though, the launch weather officer that we spoke to, not that we spoke to, geez, Louise, hold on, coffee. The launch weather officer that briefed everybody yesterday said that there's a pretty good opportunity that somewhere in that 2-hour window we'll have fine weather. The concern will moreover be tanking, because tanking, fueling the rocket, starts anywhere from 6 to 8 hours before the rocket itself. As a matter of fact, I've got that graphic. I made that graphic. I didn't get to show it to you because my internet started to go kaput. But here's kind of the major milestones. It says next few hours. I didn't update it. But you can see T-minus 9 hours, 40 minutes, weather and fuel briefing, and then fueling begins 8 hours prior to launch. So based on that, if you think about it, 2, 1, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., that's the window for tanking. And starting at 6 a.m., you'll have some coastal showers. Do any of them have lightning? Hopefully not. Then, of course, through that process, do any storms develop? So again, tanking will be a concern, but the launch forecast itself should look better and better and better, okay? So that's that. Let's talk about today. It's Wednesday. Want to make sure you know exactly when the rains will be arriving, and then we can get back into the launch forecast if that's what you'd like. We definitely have to talk tropics as well. All right, so there's lunchtime. Still looking pretty good when meteorologist Cam Tran joins you on West 2 News at noon. I will be in the other studio representing UCF. All right, 2 o'clock, you can see a few spotty showers developing, but look how it goes active. 4 o'clock, showers, then turning to the bigger thunderstorms by 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Yeah, bigger thunderstorms through 8 o'clock. Now, that said, we at 8 o'clock will be only within about 24 hours of UCF Knights football here in Central Florida. So let's fast forward Futurecast and let's look at Thursday, right? Morning is fine, okay? Let's just go through time. There's 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Thursday. You can see some showers and some thunder showers around. And then it just kind of starts to hang out and move, if anywhere, it kind of moves off to the west through 8, 9 o'clock. So it's not a perfect forecast, but it wouldn't be early season Knights football if we didn't at least have some concern for a rain delay, right? That's just the way it goes. It's just the way it goes after all. So here's the UCF forecast, okay? For tailgating, showers and storms on the radar, certainly clouds around. But by 7 o'clock, we're going to be watching the radar. I think that those storms should be moving more and more off toward the west, and we should be looking better and better and better out at the FBC Mortgage Stadium, which that's going to take some getting used to. All right? So that's where we're at. Jan says football season is starting. Oh, it is. Dana, go Knights, charge on. Absolutely. Can't wait for today to be over with. 12 months ago. Oh, my goodness. Whoa. Marie, that's wild. Wow. John, I know. Hey, Becky, that's the way I look at it, right? At least you don't have to be up at 2 a.m. to cover this one. I know, but it's going to be a long day, I think. We have to figure out launch coverage, and that's going to happen today. The managers certainly are going to be going over that. David, bye, buddy, love you. Are they broadcasting the game? Good morning to you. Are they broadcasting the game? I think ESPN Plus is broadcasting this game. I don't remember. I think ESPN Plus is broadcasting this game, which, good times. Really needed to hold off tonight so baseball tryouts can happen. Already had to cancel once. I'm sorry. Melanie says FSU plays LSU Sunday night. Go Noles. So I made an FSU forecast assuming that it was in Baton Rouge, but I was told that this game is actually in New Orleans. LSU FSU game. I'm looking it up right now. if that's the case, ignore this graphic. I can't see where it says that it's going to be in New Orleans, though. Where is the LSU-Florida State game? Oh, take aim at the Crescent City where they look to face off at the Superdome. All right. So this forecast is bad because it's going to be 72 and 72, right? Because it's room temperature. It's not going to be 80 and 79. So I'll fix this graphic. It took somebody to tell me that. Good gravy. Heather says, I explained heat lightning last night, said Eric shared his knowledge. Thank you. Yeah. So I threw shade at somebody on Twitter yesterday. I tweeted out the UCF forecast, and then they said, somebody said, what about Saturday night in Gainesville? And I responded, what's in Gainesville? I know the Gators play, but I had to throw a little shade. Anyway, Saturday, this one is at the Swamp. They're not like playing this at, Jacksonville or anywhere that I know of. It's hard sometimes to find when they make these random changes. Saturday, if you're heading up to the Swamp, though, showers and storms are going to be around. It's Alachua County. That's just the way it goes, right? But looking toward kickoff, hopefully we'll be doing better and better and better. All right? Come park at my park for launch. I'm going to be over at the Cape. Only ESPN Plus. Yeah. After go nights. There you go, Lacey. I'm okay with that. All right. So Mercy's asking, are we getting anything from Invest 91? So I suppose now's a good time to start talking tropics. Yeah. Carolyn's asking tropics. Yes. Your son says, smack him, Dad, because I was throwing shade at UF. He's laughing. Oh, man. Kimberly says, daughter just left to attend FSU. Bless her heart. Now she has COVID, having to do online classes until she feels better. Oy vey. All right. So tropics, right? So there are 3 areas that we are monitoring in the tropics. Oh, what fun. Can you tell we're getting to the peak of season? So this is the wider perspective. The 3 areas that we're monitoring, out of all 3, for now, there's only one that really has my attention. So bottom left corner here, you've got Invest 91. Over the next couple of days' time, it has actually, percentages just changed. Hold on. They just changed. The top one, 60, 70. Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on. These percentages just changed. Stand by. I think Kellyanne did already tweak it, but there we go. Okay, so this one, bottom left corner, that's Invest 91 with a 60% chance of developing over the next 2 days' time, 80% over the next 5 days' time. A little feature in the North Atlantic, 60, 70, and then a feature coming off the coast of Africa with a medium 40% chance over the next 2 days' time, 50% chance over the next 5 days' time. Out of all 3, though, it's that bottom left one that at least has my attention, right? So let's zoom in and let's just see what it looks like. Over the last few hours' time, convection definitely has been starting to come together. It is starting seemingly to undergo tropical cyclone genesis, transitioning from an elongated area of low pressure to perhaps something a little more organized. There are no recon flights today, at least for this mission. There are a few research recon flights, and we'll get the updated recon mission forecast for tomorrow at about 10 o'clock or so today. So for right now, it's definitely looking a little bit better. Computer forecast models for this thing. Let me show. Hold on. Let me show you the computer forecast models for it. This is the way they look right now. Now, they have been very tight, but they've started to loosen up a little bit. So what I want to do, the most recent computer model run is the 6Z run. So what I want to do is I want to show you run to run to run to run. So this is 3 model runs ago. Okay? Let's follow through time. 3 runs ago. Go. 2 runs ago. 1 run ago. Current run. So one thing that you're absolutely noticing there is recurve, spreading, kind of spreading. So the models are starting to spread apart. Why? Well, because first off, the models are starting to initialize this perhaps being a little bit weaker. Earlier models were saying this could become a major hurricane, and of course now we're starting to see that trending down little bit by little bit. Take a look at the intensity models, for example. You're going to notice that they're not going bonkers, right? Did I double click you? No, I did not. Let's try that again. So weaker, and we say this a lot. Oh, of course, that has changed. Morning runs are a little adjusted. Weaker goes west, okay? So for right now, they're trying to bring it up to hurricane status, at least half of them, but they're not bringing it up to Cat 4, Cat 5 intensity. So, you know, weaker goes west. So some of the models are keeping it weak. Some of the models are trying to strengthen it, but weaker goes west. So because of that theory, perhaps this would get a little closer. Now, all the models are trying to recurve it, but if it's a little weaker, it would go a little closer to us. Here's a look at kind of just the GFS model as it stands. Just follow through time here, okay? So doing its thing, moving, staying north of Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic and Haiti, starting to develop and then recurve. And of course, as that happens, if it's a little weaker, it may get a little closer to the United States. If it's a little stronger, it would recurve earlier. And that doesn't put us in play for any like direct impacts. But being that it is a holiday weekend right around the corner, one thing that we're watching is the idea that if it's a little weaker, it gets a little closer. So maybe it impacts our rain a little bit. Maybe the overall idea is that waves are going to be building this weekend as it recurves. Right now, it's not generating much, but if it gets stronger, it could generate more wave action and then start building that at our beaches. So looking at the holiday weekend, just know if your plans do take you to the beach, certainly Sunday into Monday, we are going to be looking at building surf just a little bit, okay? So let's take a look and see what the different global models are showing. All right, so this is the GFS. This is the GFS 6Z run, so it's the most recent run. Bottom center of your screen, that is Invest 91. Over on the right side, off the coast of Africa, that would be 93 if it were to try and get going. And then what was Invest 92 is in the North Atlantic. So let's just roll this through time. And GFS trying to start development there around Sunday, Monday. You could see 993 millibars. At this point, you can see you've got a 984 Invest 91. That would make it, obviously, Danielle. A little wave back behind it. And then in the North Atlantic, more than likely, what was Invest 92 becomes something of a tropical system, right? All right, let's keep going. Obviously, you can see because the GFS is stronger, as soon as it gets north of Puerto Rico, it recurves the thing, right? And then something else maybe back behind it. So that's what the GFS is looking like. And then something kind of bubbles up off the northeastern coastline there. All right, so there's that. That's the GFS. Look at that. The 16th, you see that? Like a 999 low off the coast of South Jersey. Atlantic City getting some battering waves. Interesting. All right, let's switch over. Let's look at the European. All right. European keeps it weaker. So notice this is Monday, September 5th. Because the European keeps it weaker, notice it's just due north of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. It's kind of impacting the Turks and Caicos Islands. Remember, weaker goes west, right? Then it kind of starts to recurve a little bit. And then look at that. The European showing that next system coming off of Africa to be a monster. That's Monday, the 12th of September. What is that? A 9... Is that a 982, 979, 975, 972? So that's a big hurricane there around the 13th of September, very near St. Croix, very near Puerto Rico, right? And then that's as far out as the European goes. So if I were to show you, so that's interesting right there, right? Just north of Dominican Republic and Haiti, the European showing a decent hurricane, whereas if we switch this out to the GFS, it's not. So consistency is a pretty big deal when it comes to these models. We're not seeing that, okay? So let's look at the ensembles. That's where we can kind of get better ideas on what's happening, okay? Let me do that. Okay, all right, we'll go back to the beginning. All right, so this is the GFS ensemble. And you've got some areas of low pressure. You see how, and I'll just zoom this in a little bit to the Caribbean view, but you see how just to our east, right? Just to our east, you've got a spread of models because some of the ensemble plots are trying to keep it a little stronger and recurve it earlier. Some of the ensembles are trying to keep it a little weaker and bring it a little closer to us. So that's That's a question mark, right? All right, that moves on through, does its thing. Then we get to the end, and that's that. All right, let's go over to the European. Scroll that down. And there you go. You can kind of see the various European ensemble members. Right? There's a lot of them, and they're kind of recurving it. Some of them getting closer to us, but most of them, I'd say 90% of them recurving and staying out. And then there's that next thing there, right at the very end. You can see it there on the right-hand side. So mid-September, there's going to be that little thing to watch. So yeah, and then we could step in even further out if we wanted to and look at the BSR and just see, if there's anything interesting here. That's the only little interesting feature that I see. It's like right at the end. Let me go all the way to the end and then back it up a little bit. And you can see that little feature there, a little something south of Florida. That little feature there is something interesting to me. And that's around, what is that? That's 12Z on the 26. Stand by. Like around September 12th-ish. The BSR shows something cruising by South Florida, south of South Florida. So that's interesting. We do need to, if the Florieaster is recycling though, it's going to have to show itself here pretty soon, and I don't see it right now. That is September 3rd. So that's just before the Florieaster. So it's not showing. But that's just before when the Florieaster should show. So, yeah. So anyway, that's long story long. That's where we are in the tropics. One thing that's interesting, though, we continue to be nice and quiet in the tropics. Matter of fact, only 2 years in the modern era have we had no named storms in the month of August, 1961 and 1997. Now, if you follow along at home with us doing the long-range modeling, this is interesting. 1961 was super, super, super quiet through August. September, October, November went super active, like the end of September, October, November. Why? Well, we would think that the LRC kicked in. The new LRC cycle then got active. 1997, we went into an El Nino year, so 1997 stayed pretty flat going into 98. And we were, of course, remember, 1998 was the summer where the rainy season started latest on average. Fires were all over Central Florida. It was a quiet hurricane season. So anyway, very interesting stuff. But I did update the ACE numbers just to follow and see where we are. We are sitting at 2.8 ACE points. The 30-year average through today is 36.3 ACE points. Last year through today, we had 44.4 ACE points, meaning that this is the slowest start to hurricane season in terms of ACE points through today since 1988. In 1988 through today, there were 2.0 ACE points. And before that, you go back to, I believe, 1941, which had 0 ACE points. But that was previous to the satellite era, so maybe there was something out to sea that we just didn't know. So anyway, this is a incredibly slow hurricane season thus far. All right. Starting to get active, John says, though. Absolutely. Kamal says, thanks for sharing these models. Of course. Kelsey, nerd question for you. Do quiet tropical seasons like this affect annual rainfall totals? Historically, do less active hurricane seasons raise drought and brush fire probability for the rest of the year? There's so many other pieces that go into that puzzle, but I would say that when you talk about Central Florida climate, we depend on at least 1 weak tropical system to downpour on us, right? So if you don't get that, you don't get that. Yeah. Mickey, good morning. Eric, do you go back and case study that feature on the BSR to see any correlation on the LRC? I did not yesterday because what was I doing yesterday at work? College football forecasts, yada, yada, yada. Just a million minor projects. I will do that today because curiosity killed the cat, right? So yeah, I'm off of work today. So my plan is mowing the yard, and then I'm going to clean the house a little bit. I need to do my laundry. We've got that barbecue at Wesh. And so at some point, probably right after I mow the yard when I'm exhausted, I'll probably sit at the computer and do some case studying. Mercy says, OMG, I feel so informed, ready to refute my friend's crazy notions mention of any bubble on the map. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. What coffee cup you got there? It looks nice. Oh, it's a Yeti with some Pilone inside. Are we going to see cooler weather soon? At some point. Not yet, but at some point. Yep. Has all the Saharan dust dissipated for now? No, Tom. There's still Saharan dust. Here, let me show you. Hit you. Here. Yeah. Let me just go back to the Atlantic. I mean, you could see Invest 91 is in like one of the moist areas. The wave coming off the coast of Africa is still very much into Saharan dust. But yeah, there's still Saharan dust out there. I feel like the tropics said, you think you know me so well. I've got moves you haven't seen. That's right. It's like, oh, you're forecasting another busy season? Hold my beer, you know? Even though Wesh forecasted a near normal year on March 1st. I'm not saying we're any better than anyone else. I'm just saying our methodology led us to believe that. But remember, a quiet start to the season means nothing of the end of the season. Why? Because October, November, we go into a new yearly cycle, and thus it could go crazy, which would then tell us next year would be crazy, right? So we just have to watch this. Oh, thank you, Debbie. I appreciate it. Yeah, dog is thirsty. Aaron says, you think October might be busy? I know in Florida, hurricane season usually doesn't end until after Halloween. Well, I mean, it doesn't end until the end of November, but October, November, that's a new cycle completely. And while this cycle we knew was quiet, we don't know what comes down the pike. So it very much could be quiet. You know, it also very much could be active. We have to wait and see how it plays out. Right? So that's where we're at. But there's going to be some things to watch over these next couple of days. And certainly we're going to be watching them. Real fast, before I pop up the formal 7-day forecast, we do have Labor Day weekend ahead. It wouldn't be Labor Day without tracking the tropics. That's just the truth. So showers and storms around, highs around 93, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. That's kind of where we're at. All right. Here's your 7-day forecast, by the way. Rain chances, thankfully, going down for us. Looking ahead at your Thursday, your Friday, and your Saturday, which does mean at least a hint of better weather come rocket launch time. Yeah, I'd like that. My appointment today for pre-surgery. Hopefully I can be as successful as you were with yours. Thank you very much, Tina. Best of luck to you, my gosh. It's not easy. It's not easy, and at times it's very much not fun, but I swear to you, the hard work is worth it. Seriously, it is the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. For myself. Obviously, having children is the greatest. But like for myself, I feel so much better. I'm so grateful. So yeah, sneak me 2 cheeseburgers and 3 hot dogs and rush them overnight to me. 2 cheeseburgers and hot... Why? We just talked... Why, Adam? I don't understand. Other than the work party. Is that what you mean? I don't know. All right. So that's where we got. Any questions, comments, concerns, people? Anything at all? It's interesting. By the way, somebody yesterday on Twitter, I don't know if you're in here, but somebody had asked me about the 90-degree days. We average 106 90-degree days. We've had 115. Yeah. So we're above average. Once again for that. Super fun. Those are statistics I don't love. Oh, well. All right. All right, listen. That's it. It's 8:29, just about 8:30. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you at 3:30 for the afternoon coffee talk update. We'll chat more about what's doing in the afternoon, what's doing in the tropics, all that fun stuff. All right? Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much. Bye, y'all.